When we wanted tips on how to make the perfect French omelet, we asked Chef Ludo at Appétit in Los Angeles for his tips. It's super runny in the middle, and there's no brown on the outside, and lots of butter. So let's make it. So first things first, eggs. We're gonna crack them into the bowl. You wanna buy the freshest ones that you can find. Go to the farmer's market, ask for the large ones. They can tend to be a little bit on the smaller side. And now we're going to whisk them together. So obviously you wanna get these eggs as smooth as possible, and that means no white strands, no pieces of yolk. You're not trying to beat air into them. You're just trying to fully incorporate the whites into the yolk. It should look like one smooth, homogenized mixture. A good way to test that is by lifting up your eggs with your whisk, and they should fall in one smooth, awesome strand of egg in harmony. So now comes the time to make our omelet. I'm gonna add about a tablespoon of butter to my skillet. Use a high quality French style butter if possible, unsalted. We're gonna start with our heat on medium to medium low. Once you add your butter, you should not hear a sound. It shouldn't sizzle, it shouldn't foam. Make sure that it just sort of melts gently into the skillet. And once it's hot enough, you'll start to see like a few little bubbles, and that's when you know it's ready to add your eggs. And again, what you should hear is nothing. You should hear no sound, no sizzle. So I'll stir it right off the bat just to make sure nothing's sticking. And then you want to season in the skillet. To season our omelet, we're going to use a little bit of kosher salt and white pepper. We're not using black pepper because we're later going to add some Boursin, which has black pepper in it. So we don't want it to be too crazy with black pepper flavor. So immediately I'm going to start shaking and stirring my omelet. We're not trying to form any curds, so you need to kind of keep your pan moving constantly in order to prevent that from happening. Also, when you're making your omelet, you're going to want to scrape around the sides of the skillet because as you shake, that's where the egg is going to go, and it's going to start cooking faster than the rest. And so you want to make sure that it's cooking as evenly and as slow and low as the rest of your eggs. Think of an omelet as a marathon, not a sprint. It's not going to happen as fast as you probably want it to, but don't worry, your patience will be rewarded. I'm going to give it one last scrape around the edges. Okay, so now we're at the point where most of the eggs are starting to cook. You have a little bit of runny bits, but the curds are starting to form, but I'm going to let it sit for a minute, and that's going to cook the bottom of the omelet. I'm adding about 1 ounce of Boursin to the omelet. When you're putting the cheese in the omelet, you want to make sure that it kind of runs the length of the handle. When you roll your omelet, you're rolling it in that way, and so it'll be perfectly in the center. So now I'm going to let my omelet sit for a minute. It's going to finish cooking on the bottom, which is going to make it really easy for me to roll up to get it out of the pan and into my mouth. Start to roll it, and it comes up pretty easily, but to make it even easier and more delicious, I'm going to add some more butter. It's going to help it release from the pan. And after that first roll, you want to roll in about an inch interval as opposed to like rolling it really tight and thin like a cigar. You're rolling it a little fatter. And once our omelet is ready to come out of the pan, I'm just going to go straight onto the plate. And if I'm lucky, it'll come out kind of perfectly like that. It's no petit trois omelet, but I don't know, I'd hire me. As if there wasn't enough butter in this omelet already, we're going to finish it with a little bit on top to make it super shiny. And then it gets a little bit of fleur de sel, crunchy salt, and some chives. And there you have it. It's our perfect French omelet. It's creamy, it's awesome. It's beautifully blonde with no brown spots on the outside, no rubbery, overcooked bits. For more recipes like this on how to cook like a pro, go to bonappetit.com/clap, as in cook like a pro.